What's up, everybody? Jackson here today with my little brother Chubbs.
Hello, everyone.
And since we last talked to you, there's been a whole bunch of shit that's been going on in our neck of the woods. Sorry we haven't fucking uploaded anything, or we haven't really been active on social media. It's a combination of fucking a bunch of different things, and honestly, it's just something we don't really even want to fucking talk about. It's like, doesn't really fucking matter when it comes to video games.
But like when dominoes fall, it's like
Yeah.
everything fucking happens all at
Yeah.
once.
And it's just the sort. It's been a lot to fucking deal with, but it doesn't matter. That doesn't have anything to do with video games. During the time since we've last talked to you, though, also a very interesting thing occurred. Now, let me take you way back. I don't know exactly how many months it's been, but World of Warcraft launches BFA, Battle for Azeroth expansion. Our little brother was keen to pick it up. We said, do it. He's like, I'm going to check it out. If it's worth it, I'll actually just buy it for you guys. Right? I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'll just buy it for you. And I'm like, how? He's like, or he said, with WoW Gold. I'll just buy it for you guys with WoW Gold. And we were like, what? You can do that? He's like, oh yeah. And so the way it works is, Blizzard has these tokens that they sell in the auction house for a fluctuating price of gold. Usually around 110,000 gold is the average, right? This token can then be turned into $15 on your Blizzard account or turned into 30 days in game time. So what our brother did is, when an expansion launches, if you're unaware, picture basically any game where an expansion launches and the number of your gear goes up, right? You get increased stats, increased damage, increased, mitigation, things like that. And it's also, there's this rush within the community, this sort of piranha-like feeding frenzy to reach the top number first. And so our little brother took advantage of that. He power leveled his herbalism and his inscription. He made Dark Moon decks, which is basically a trinket, which is a slot of gear on your character, and it's got a high number that will actually get you very close to where you need to be in order to do like endgame content,
like mythic dungeons.
It's a big boost up. And people are willing to spend a lot of gold on that. So doing that, he spent, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of gold he got from doing this. He then turned around, flipped that, and bought me and Chubbs a copy of not only Destiny 2, but also of World of Warcraft.
With the BFA edition.
Yes. So me and Chubbs were able to play, the new expansion. I was able to go back and play through a lot of the old expansions in WoW. It's one of those games that at the end game, it's not worth it anymore, in my opinion. Yeah. Because it's actually worse now than it used to be, where it used to be very fucking it felt like a progression at the end game. Now it doesn't feel so much as a progression as a grind, which is, there's a subtle difference, which we're going to be getting into when we start talking about Destiny 2 a little bit more. But there's a huge difference. I wouldn't even say it's subtle. There's a huge difference between a progression in the end game, where it feels like you're progressing, and a grind, where it feels like you're grinding, where it's not...
Where it's just you're doing one thing to achieve one purpose.
Yeah.
As opposed to where, like a progression where there's multiple different things and multiple different things you gotta pay attention to.
Yeah.
Which will all funnel you into the end game. Which, that's like the huge difference with WoW today.
As opposed to like Watlicky.
Exactly.
With Wrath of the Lich King WoW, it was very much like you hit 80, and then there was a first tier gear grind. And I say grind because it was a grind. Oh, yeah. Right? Because it basically kept you from any of the end game raids until you did like these certain steps, ran these dungeons, appropriate to your class and gear slot you're trying to fill, based on, what boss is dropping what and things like that, which the information you have. But after you reach that point, it started like there was this skill progression where it was you with a raid group and you were going through the raid, and it was like when you got an upgrade, it felt like that upgrade super mattered, and it felt like you earned that fucking upgrade. And at the end of the day, now WoW is all about daily activities, weekly quests, and like grinding reputation to get gear that by the time you get there, you just don't need it anymore. So like you've farmed this rep for over a month to get exalted, and now you're getting gear that it doesn't matter, right?
Oh yeah, for the reputation.
The point of this trail is basically World of Warcraft. It's so funny to me that Destiny aped World of Warcraft in a shallow way, and now World of Warcraft is aping Destiny. So there's a very clear connection between Destiny and World of Warcraft. The fact that our brother was able to buy us an edition of Forsaken, the endgame fucking be-all fucking content drop that changed the fucking game and fixed it just like the Taken King.
Play the game however you want.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Any of you fucking fanboys leave me that fucking comment, I swear to God I'm deleting and blocking you. Save your fucking goddamn breath. The Forsaken expansion did as much for Destiny 2, you're right, as the Taken King did for Destiny, which was not jack fucking shit unless you apply it to the garbage that it was day one. Right? And with Destiny 2, it's either they're lazy, inept, and stupid, or they purposefully held the fucking content back and made it bad so that they could have that shifting seasonal update that they sell for $40 fucking that saves the fucking day.
The annual season pass.
Right? It's because these dumb idiots, these fucking assholes over at Bungie, are so incompetent with game design that they would rather play intricate mind games with their fucking 14-year-old customers and keep them addicted and coming back that way. And rather than add depth and intricacies to the game and make it a better overall experience for everyone who steps in, nah, fuck that. Make it a simple fucking daily fucking quest, fucking weekly fucking quest, fucking, and you know what? It's just numbers. That's the fucking endgame in Destiny. It's just numbers.
Oh yeah. Never do you get a weapon where you feel like, oh wow, this weapon is really super cool, to the point where you want to hang on to it if the number is lower. Because as soon as you get a higher number, it doesn't fucking matter what kind of gun it is. It doesn't matter what kind of gun your old ones was. Like there is nothing.
Therein ties this currency management that bleeds over from fucking these goddamn mobile games. So mobile games tend to have just like 13 different currencies. There's the free-to-play currency, then there's the premium currency, then there's probably some sort of crafting breakdown bullshit that you take and then turn into other things. So I see Hearthstone. And so these sorts of games are addictive to people. Doesn't matter what kind they are. It could be like a Hearthstone, a card game. It could be like Heroes of the Storm or fucking League of Legends or fucking anything like that with these multiple currencies for in-game items. And like another perfect example is Candy Crush, which incidentally was purchased by Activision. King Games purchased by Activision for like $4.3 billion. Okay, what are they buying? I'm telling you, they're buying this formula that King Games cooked up that turned a fucking goddamn Candy Crush into a Bejeweled clone into a multi-billion-dollar fucking franchise company.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so like this is what they've done. And so when you get to like you were saying, like you have these guns, it doesn't matter if it's got a lower number and it works better for you, you enjoy it more. Well, now you come into fucking the little microcurrencies that exist, okay? So crafting materials in the first one that used to be used to upgrade your fucking thing, like the spin metal, things like that. You can now take those to a guy named Spider, who was introduced in the Forsaken expansion, and when the Masterwork cores were completely overhauled. So now, in order to upgrade, say, you got an exotic, what's the hand cannon that fucking Kate you get for that
Ace of Spades?
Yeah, so say you got the Ace of Spades. Every time I get a primary hand weapon on my hunter when I was playing it, because we haven't played it in months, I think we played it for a good 2 weeks, and then we put it down and moved the fuck on with our lives because we realized what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, this game fucking boils down to, okay, so you want to get that number up. You want to bring that number up to your current level, which is not even going to be that good since your number is increasing incrementally with your gear. This isn't a progression system. This is a number grind. That's all it is. It's you're farming numbers, and you get, you know, oh, well, I have an average of 238 light, for example. Now I'm going to get this item. Now I have 239. Oh, look, now I have 241. Now I have, and everything that drops past after that point is going to be 241, 243. And the gear and the fucking number on your character are interchangeable. Okay? So you cannot progress faster than they've decided you can progress.
At all.
Okay?
Like,
now,
I swear to God, every day that I logged on and played that game, I swear to God, never more than 4 levels. 4 levels, and that's numbers that I'm counting. How many did I go up today? 4. Max.
And how did you get those 4 numbers? Daily activities.
The same activities I'm running on a fucking loop every day.
Strike playlist, run a mission, run a PvP playlist, run a fucking, the
like
new
3
mode
hours
playlist.
worth of activities that is guaranteed upgrades.
Yes. Now, this is the biggest problem with Destiny, is that it's been developed this way for a reason. And that is because Candy Crush and games of its ilk are so successful at peeling away people who are weak-minded, usually very young. You read about stories about kids who fucking buy thousands of dollars in some bullshit mobile game all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It happens all the time.
Well, just look at their marketing techniques. Is Destiny out there freaking throwing up ads at, like, R-rated movies? No, they're freaking giving out promotions with Pop-Tarts and Rockstar.
Yes.
You know,
It's
are they
like
giving out a
Overwatch.
promotion with Jägermeister? No,
Yeah.
they know their fucking audience.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's kids. It's built for kids. And the story is very much meant to very much reflects that. You have this story that doesn't even fucking work and function in a single player it's a single player experience.
Oh, yeah.
The story in a game that's telling you it's a social fucking shooter.
Yeah.
It's a social shooter, looter, MMORPG.
And throughout the entire narrative of this story, when you're on planets doing these random objectives, you're seeing people all over the place anyway.
Yep.
So it's like, you know what I mean?
When it comes down to it, Destiny is best served in short, like, really quick doses. It's like cocaine. The longer you do cocaine, the worse the bender. And you're going to realize after you're done with it that you've done nothing and everything that you just did was pointless. However, this is a horrible analogy.
It works. It kind of works.
Well, I just chewed some fucking cocaine
The only
gum.
difference is cocaine is like you get crazy hella depressed, as opposed to like if you quit playing Destiny, you're not gonna get that emotional
so
downer.
here's the thing about it is it's like Destiny wants you to play it in short bursts. It tells you that by saying, like, you're limited to these certain activities in order to upgrade. And even Spider, so if you want to bring up, I never finished explaining that fucking trail. But if you want to fucking bring up your lower level gear to a higher light level, you have to go to Spider and purchase Masterwork cores, depending on how many you have, because it's always going to cost those in order to transfuse this new old item with the new item and get the old item higher.
Yeah.
Right? So the way they've done this is you have to go to Spider. Now, how do you buy them from Spider? Well, legendary shards. So basically what they've done is they've turned every legendary you get into the game, like, I would say almost 99% of the time. If you get a legendary, odds are you're just chewing it up and turning it into a legendary shard, which is a currency. So they've literally turned the gear in Destiny 2 into a fucking currency. The gear is now currency. It always was. There were always like the exotic cores and the fucking cores and legendary just whatever, where they basically turned the weapons into another currency.
Oh yeah.
So you have to take this currency now that you get from legendary drops that don't mean dick, that are lower level than you, like even the Cryptarch. You fucking go and you can buy legendary fucking engrams from the Cryptarch, and it's always lower level gear than you have. Always. It does not help you get a leg up.
And a ridiculously lower level.
Yeah. And you do those strike playlists and you get those marks of Vanguard and you take those to the fucking bald asshole Titan in the fucking thing who's got issue with everybody because he's not a fucking cowboy in the Old West in the forest that's actually a fucking hologram of fucking goddamn platforms that have clearly been stripped away and reconstructed to make this fucking hazard map so they can say we added Mercury. And the fucking forest. It's not a forest.
It's not a forest.
And then but this is really a forest. This is the haunted forest where the fucking shard of the traveler lies, guarded by Forsaken. You're gonna kill him and blah blah fucking blah. Oh my god.
First question was
the
where are
most
the trees?
Convoluted bullshit ever constructed. DLC in Destiny 2. The DLC in Destiny 2, even up to the Forsaken expansion, was like, I don't know, It was lazy.
Let's talk about this. People are always talking about how, like, have people said that this saved the story?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
people say that this made the story better.
That's 100% being said, dude.
Okay, let's just throw this out there, all right? If ever you are playing through a story and you feel like there's a huge gap before the story began and a huge gap after the story ends is just missing and it doesn't make sense, it's kind of out of place because you're just looking at the middle part of the story, that doesn't make a good story. And that's essentially what they did. All right, now you can talk about how good they displayed the characters.
That's not what they did. That's how it feels. That's how it felt in the first one. It felt like this. Okay, so I watched this video on File76. It was awesome. I can't remember her name, the YouTuber, but I'll have her video linked below. She said that the problem with File76's story is it feels like you're chasing something, like you're chasing the awesome thing that's happening during the game instead of being there. So she compared it to Skyrim. Instead of being the Dragonborn from the jump and, like, you know, going on the cart, instead of that, you're somebody else and you're just walking around killing, like, low-level skeletons and zombies in order to find, like, notes that allude to the fucking, you know, Dragonborn and all the badass shit that he's doing.
Yeah.
Right? That's what Destiny felt like. Destiny 1, not Destiny 2. Destiny 1
felt that way.
Destiny 1 felt like you were just a hair behind all the awesome shit that was happening, and it was going to get there eventually.
Oh yeah, even the Vault of Glass, like all the weapons you got out of there, how it gave you a short description of a Guardian before you that has previously been here, and you're just secretly, like, rating this after his discovery, or their discovery, and it's like, all right, that's how Destiny 1 felt.
And it never answered anything. It never answered anything. All it did was leave open-ended questions to all sorts of shit. The Traveler, like the lady who was the stranger. There was all these things, and it felt like at the end of it, you were like, cool, we'll get the rest in the season pass. Yeah. Like, that's legit the feeling I had. That was a fucked up feeling, but it felt like, okay, well, I enjoy this enough. They've been updating it. They're fixing things. You know, the loot is getting less and less shit. So, like, they're working on it, and then, like, you know, let's give them a chance. And then Dark Below came out. I actually enjoyed that content pack a lot. I thought it added a bunch of good shit to the game. The fucking not Oryx, it was Crota.
Yeah.
You know, the Crota raid was very cool. I enjoyed it. I had issues with it, mostly due to, like, you know, functionability and cheesy dumb shit that casual haggits will fucking, you know, like,
take advantage of.
Yeah, these little hackets that, you know, oh, I'm fucking playing Destiny. I'm a hardcore gamer. I fucking, you know, I'm good at games.
But let's skip all the mechanics.
But let's like kill the whole group here, and then he'll just respawn himself, and he can kill everything, and we'll win the encounter, and we'll just get the gear. Let's just get past
let's just skip it.
I can't tell you how many people I played Destiny with that were all down for any sort of cheese. Any sort of cheese, they jumped all over it, loved the shit out of it, because it's either, hey, let's cheat, or let's get better at the game. Fuck that, let's not get better, I'm just here for loot. The loot will say I'm good at the game once I have the loot, so let's just cheese everything until I get the loot.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, that, but that said, I fucking enjoyed Dark Below. Then fucking the House of Wolves comes out, no raid, this fucking bullshit, you know, Prison of Elders crap that was clearly cut away from Destiny fucking 2 shit. Like, all this stuff has been cut and chopped apart. I hope everyone knows that now, and no one is disputing that. If you're disputing that, you're stupid as fuck. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you've played Destiny from the first all the way to the end, fucking Forsaken content pack in Destiny 2, and you still think that those games weren't originally one game, you're a fucking dumbass.
That isn't all the collection of work that has already been completed.
So at that point I was done, got Rise of Iron from Jeff, just blah. It was just blah.
Yeah.
It felt, you know, and the Taken King, they say that the Taken King fixed that. Well, the Taken King brought a really cool raid with it. You know, it redefined the endgame activities with patrols and things like that.
Yeah.
And it literally did everything that Destiny 2 did. Every content pack from them after that, aside from, like, the fucking mode with the gambler or whatever.
The Gambit.
Yeah, the Gambit mode. Besides that mode, literally everything that they did in the Taken King it's been that. It's been that from now until now.
Oh, yeah.
Destiny 2 comes out and it intentionally sucks. All right? Now, this is crazy conspiracy theory me, but I'm going to say that they tanked Destiny 2 on purpose. I'm going to say that they, at Bungie, knew that it was going to sell already. Based on pre-order numbers, based on the faith that the community had put into them in this over-bloated, half-ass company that's taking all of this money and most definitely reinvesting 1% of it back into the product. Maybe 1%. Because Activision owns Bungie and Bungie loves it. Okay? Activision owns Blizzard and Blizzard will soon love it. Once it's been gutted of any employee that doesn't, because they'll be fucked with, had fucking bonuses taken away from them, once all of that shit happens, right, they'll fucking leave and it'll be a fucking hollowed out version of what Blizzard was.
Oh, yeah.
And at that point, we'll see what Blizzard's becoming. Because this new BFA has fucking less content in it than any other fucking expansion pack I've ever seen from Blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
But why? Well, it's because they're going to roll out updates and it's going to be free.
Yep.
You already will have bought it. It will be included with that monthly subscription. Because they're dribbling out content like Destiny now.
Oh, yeah.
They're aping Destiny in this fucking drip feed content sort of way. Fucking psychological manipulation, right? Because what was the word on Destiny fans when Destiny 2 had first come out? This shit sucks. I'm playing Destiny 1 still. I'm still playing Destiny 1.
They called it what? Destiny 1.5?
Yeah. And they all were like, this game sucks now. I'm gonna still play Destiny 1. Meanwhile, while they're still playing Destiny 1, there's a huge portion of these people. It must be huge. Because when I search fucking Destiny 2 fucking loot box, or Destiny 1 loot box opening, and I see dozens of fucking channels with hundreds of thousands of views amongst them, existing, I'm going to assume that there's a fucking portion of the Bungie community that's heavily addicted to sterling silver and their stupid fucking treasure boxes.
Oh yeah, they're excited to get those skins.
So while they're saying fuck Destiny 2, this is bullshit, you know. I don't like
they're
this.
Watching
they're playing Destiny 1 and they're buying silver in there and they're buying loot boxes in there because they're still invested in it. Mm-hmm. Seriously, what was it that changed with the Taken King that made everyone say it was going to be a better update, that it was going to fix it? 100% of all that shit happened in the pre-release, before fucking Forsaken even launched. In that pre-patch where they took it and flipped it all the way back to what was already in Destiny 1.
Yep.
That was their solution to fixing all the problems. Revert all the changes we made for the first 2 seasons of Destiny 2's content.
All the amazing changes that they had made, you know, like this shotgun rocket launcher, changing, you know, those being the same slot.
Slowing everything down, nerfing PvP into a 4v4 format where they're trying to be this competitive fucking arena shooter all of a sudden with fucking
taking
esports
away.
And they don't know what they're doing. At what point is the community just going to say, holy fuck, every idea you implement is bad? But no, like the Forsaken has been accepted as a great fucking update. Now they've got the annual pass.
And they've got, and another thing, heavy machine guns. They took them out just to give them back to you.
Yep.
It is literally the exact same. They just reverted it back to all the changes of Destiny 1, but with the added ability, the different supers. And that's essentially it. And even then, like, the skill tree, there's some changes with, like, the gear and having the mobility, and the mobility actually tied to your jump. So you jumping isn't the same height as another person of your same class, like it was in Destiny 1, right? Because you have that mobility, and if somebody has that jacked way the fuck up, they're actually able to jump higher.
Yeah. And move faster.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing, is there are a little bit of things that are added, and it just feels so simplified.
Yeah.
It feels like...
Even from Destiny 1, which was pretty much simple as shit.
Oh, yeah. It just feels like even a toddler could sit down and be like, I understand what this means. You know what I mean? And it doesn't feel ever like
well,
you're
you
sacrificing
could explain it
something.
to a toddler. Like, that's how the trees are. It's, okay, well, if you pick this one, you know, your super's going to do this. Your grenade's going to do this if you pick this one. This is what this is going to do. And it's that. And it's so few options. It's not an RPG skill tree.
And it's not like
it's not. If it's an RPG skills tree, I'll fucking shoot myself in the head. Yeah. Because RPGs are dead at that point.
Well, another thing is it's no sacrificing anything to make something better. Or
you can swap between everything at a whim.
Yeah. So at that point, it doesn't even matter. At that point, play with all of it because none of it is relevant anyway.
So Destiny, I feel, is the precursor to a lot of bullshit that's been happening. So I think Destiny is a precursor to fucking Sea of Thieves. 100% I believe that, and I think the evidence would back me up with that. When you know that Phil Spencer is heavily involved in the project, heavily involved with, you know, telling Rare what they want in an Xbox exclusive, and it ends up being a game that's bare bones on release and slowly updates itself. I think that him saying that he had over 600 hours, was it?
It was a ridiculous amount. Yeah, I think you're right. It was hundreds and hundreds of hours.
A whole lot of hundreds of hours into Destiny 1. He said that that's where the future of gaming was going, was games as a service. There's a Gama Sutra article with him at E3 stage show, I can't remember when. But he's basically saying that the future of games is games like Destiny, updates, constant updates, you know, basically early access titles. So with that in mind, I think that Fallout 76 is a fucking as an effect of Destiny. I think that fucking Metal Gear Survive is as an effect of Destiny. I think that fucking No Man's Sky is as an effect of Destiny. Of this mentality of marketing over substance, of marketing and flash over substance and actual work. And I hate this bullshit excusing and forgiving that goes on with the company or the people with these companies, where it's so obvious that you're just a religious zealot idiot for this fucking company that you'd probably drink the Kool-Aid and let them fucking kill you.
Oh yeah.
Because they're just that perfect. They can do no wrong.
And especially with how crazy their hype is. Yes, hype. That's another thing that gets crazy overblown out of proportion.
Fallout 76 was selling on its name alone. Pre-orders were being put down on its name alone. And it sold a lot of, it made a lot of money. Like, let's face it, for what it is and what they had to have put into it. I mean, I don't know how much they put into it, but it looks like a giant pile of fucking Bethesda shit to me. Even worse than fucking, you know, like, that's
even worse than usual.
There's things in Bethesda games that are definitely buggy, but honestly, the ones that are you just like, they're so forgivable because of the open world, the fucking, you know, NPCs interactions, the narrative that's going on as an arc above all the exploration, above all the looting, above all the shooting, above all that. When you take all that away, the fuck are you doing, you idiot?
Yeah, and not only that, but you take away the NPCs and the multiple different things that you can do with different storylines and different quest lines.
And you just say, make your own fun, fuckers.
Wander.
That's the, you know, and that's what they said. They literally said, like, our players are going to be our NPCs. Yeah. We're going to let our players make their own fun, except modding, because it's live online all the time game. So if you mod it, you're a fucking cheater, and we'll fucking ban your account and not give you a refund, even though we're not giving out refunds just for you downloading the motherfucker, right? So that I think, since he says that, like, we're gonna let them make their own fun. The first time I ever fucking heard that was this bullshit in Destiny when they were defending the god-awful loot system, where they were like, we want to have our players have stories that they tell themselves. Yeah. We want to put that in their hands. And then they drip feed this, like, awful fucking, like, Saturday morning He-Man bullshit fucking cartoon in the fucking form of Destiny 2.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, you know, He-Man might hold a nostalgic part of your heart. It does for me. Oftentimes, I'll turn it on and I'll just watch the animation. I will turn down the fucking sound because the show is dumb as fuck. It spoon feeds kids morals. I mean, it's not a bad show if you're fucking a child. Because it was made for fucking children, right? Like, it's made for children to watch on Saturday morning, so they're like, they will come and buy the toys, because that's who buys toys. You know? Like, parents buy toys, but kids are the ones who are like, Mom, I need this toy. Mom, you know, Dad, I need this toy. Right? Yeah. So that's what this is designed for. And the Destiny 2 is just that. in the story. It's just the merchandise is in the game. It's in the, Eververse store that you get to the second you hit the new tower or the second you hit the farm. Like, she's there from the beginning, just like, hey, buy stuff, buy stuff.
Right out there.
Once you hit level 20, you can buy stuff, and things send you to her. You get things in drops that are random that say, hey, go visit the microtransaction store,
She's got
kids.
some free stuff
for you.
Go meet the
microtransaction store, kids. Go buy some, loot boxes, kids. It's fun to open things randomly, kids. Like, that's the thing about Destiny 2's story. There's no depth there. You have a bunch of middle-aged fucking human beings on YouTube who call themselves lore masters trying to make mess of this with their own imagination, dude. If you want to be a writer, create your own fucking thing.
Yeah.
Don't leech onto this hollow, empty bullshit and come up with some fucking goddamn grand scheme that never fucking existed, alright? Everything that they're feeding you in grimoires and shit was written for a game that doesn't exist anymore.
At all.
It's been chopped to pieces and served up to you on how many different plates? When you count Destiny 1 Season Pass, Destiny 1 first content drop, second content drop, third content drop, fourth content drop, Destiny 2 first content drop, second content drop, third content drop.
It's just continually going.
These
and
things
now
are
it's
for
to the
a
point,
story that no longer exists.
Yeah, and now it's to a point where they're not even talking about progressing or advancing it. It's just the annual season pass, which is essentially, what was it? Activision wasn't happy with how it was performing or something. And so they added more monetization options and a faster delivery system, which is what I think the annual season pass is for $40 a year. You will get content that is drip-feeded into the game.
Yes. And it's important that you and us and everybody understand how a company like Activision looks at you. I'm not going to say the Bungie, because I'm sure there's a lot of people at Bungie that really love what they do, love making great games for people, get high on the fucking, hearing someone say, oh, that encounter that you worked on, that was so fucking sweet, That's why I would say Activision. And I'm going to say fucking probably the most top tier at Bungie, too. The way that they view you, and I think Luke Smith revealed that he most definitely views the Bungie community this way. They view you as rats, pigeons, and little dollar signs. Okay? They don't think you're intelligent. The tell that is a guaranteed fact of that. And I was actually like, at the time, I was like, wow, way to complain about something stupid. But here's the thing about it at the time, that I didn't see the significance of it. When the community realized that shaders were being repurposed from being a global shader that covered your whole suit of armor, and that they were being turned into a single-use consumable that could only be used on one piece of armor, and then immediately tossed aside once, you get 2 numbers higher on another piece of gear because you have to up your high, So you're basically not even using shaders until the end game anyway. But they took these and they monetized them and they turned them into a currency. They totally did. Like, you get them rewarded from boxes. You get them randomly off of killing mobs. Like, they're a currency just as much as legendary shards, just as much as masterwork cores, just as much as spin metal, just as much as fucking whatever other fucking bullshit 30 of them there are.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Vanguard marks.
They
fucking
intentionally
Crucible
did that,
marks.
too.
Fucking Gambit marks. Fucking, oh my fuck, currencies.
Fucking, dude. Destiny has currencies within its currencies within its currencies.
Shit you buy is a currency, dude. You buy currencies so that you can turn it into a different currency, so that you can flip it into another currency, so that you can buy a thing from Spider that lets you keep your exotic hand cannon that took you 5 days of fucking farming to get.
Hell, let's go back to before the Forsaken patch, where every single planet had its own specific currency, and you went to that planet's NPC to turn in that currency at the chance for gear.
There still is that. And what does that do? Well, it gives you a legendary, which is a currency. So you're getting currencies on the planet so that you can turn it into this guy for a piece of currency that will be a currency, because the piece of gear he's going to give you is always lower level than what you have on. Like, holy fuck. This game, dude, when they did that with the shaders, though, they supremely they shot very too low.
Oh, yeah.
Because say what you will about people who play Destiny. They're not fucking all stupid.
No, they can
They're
see what
not.
you're doing there. You're selling these things through a cosmetic person.
Yes, you're
when you
fucking
open
saying,
her
fuck
up,
you.
Yeah.
These shaders that used to be free and lasted forever are now temporary, disposable currencies that are farmed in loot boxes.
And constantly switched and changed and cycled through the game.
That is you fucking giving the middle finger to your audience just so much as when Luke Smith said that if these idiots could see these dances, they'd be throwing money at the screen. He didn't say these idiots, but that's what he may as well have.
He said that part about throwing money at the screen.
That right there implies that he views you as an idiot. Because who is going to be like, oh, that's the best dance. I'm going to throw my money at the screen. You can have my money. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Maybe kids. Probably kids
Yeah.
that are like, oh my fuck. Because I remember seeing action figures that I didn't give a fuck about after 4 days. That blew my little fucking mind in half. And I was like, I gotta have this fucking thing. This is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. I need it now. And then 4 days later, you're on to something else. One of your old toys or something like that. Like, it's just, it was all flash. It was nothing.
Oh, yeah. It was more about the excitement of getting it because it wasn't yours.
Yes. And so, like, that's the, oh my God. That, you know, this company, when they did that, they showed, and that's why it's not performing to Activision standards.
No.
The thing is that it's still making a shitload of money.
Oh, yeah. But that's just funny to me, that how much money they've made, how many expansions passes they've sold, how many people still, to this day, will say the Forsaken DLC fixed the story, it fixed the loot, it brought back heavy machine guns, it made it like Destiny 1.
That's the annual pass. That's the annual pass.
I don't even care. I guarantee you that they will say it.
They call it an annual pass. It's a second season pass. They literally sold a game, a season pass, an expansion for that game, and then another season pass. That's what they're doing. And I got it all for free because Chris bought it with gold, and I uninstalled it after about a week.
Yep. And we have everything all the way up to the Forsaken. We don't have the annual season pass.
This annual pass,
which by the way does lock raid layers and content behind the paywall.
It'll lock content.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing that they never mention when they talk about how the Taken King fixed everything. The Taken King also said fuck you to day one buyers and cut them off of content that they owned.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because what they did was they took the fucking strikes and fucking shit that you had already owned, and they stamped a higher light number on it, and they restricted that light level behind a $40 expansion paywall. So this content that I own, this Nightfall activity that I own, this strike that I bought, is locked off to me.
Yep.
Okay, so like normal, or hard difficulty. Hard difficulty is now locked off to me. Heroic fucking strikes, locked off to me.
Oh, I don't have any of that new
And that's 100% what Forsaken did. Forsaken did the same fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't buy Forsaken in the fucking Nightfall or the endgame activity that you were doing the day before the thing came out, or before the update, you could no longer do that shit unless you had the money to pay them for the new number. Right? Now, at least with the Forsaken 2, they added a big chunk. There's that really cool strike. That's what pisses me off.
Oh, yeah.
That's what makes me so mad, is that there are so many great things about this game. Things that leave you open mouth and agape. But at the end of the day, when you get to the end of it, it's all a currency management simulator.
Oh, yeah.
It's all a fucking daily activity, weekly activity simulator. Like, it's dailies and weeklies. That's the only way to progress.
The only good things that you can cling to, the only good things you can cling to and be like, oh, these are really, really good things that I really like this game for, is for how it looks sometimes. Okay, because sometimes it looks like Destiny 1, like reskin Prison of Elders. Are we all just gonna fucking forget that was in the previous game and you're just putting it back in here? No, you know what I mean?
There was a bunch of stuff on that fucking place that seemed very familiar to other areas in Destiny 1.
Oh yeah,
a lot of places on the broken shore, or the tangled shore, whatever it was.
Exactly, deja vu, man. You know what I mean?
A lot of that shit felt very familiar.
Oh yeah,
like it had been copied and pasted over.
Oh yeah, but there were some times where it was really cool. There was that story mission in the, what was it? leading into the Dreaming City where you were like shifting in and out. Everything in the Dreaming
City is excellent. That area is
that
really
was
good.
very cool. I really like how a lot of that looks.
They unlock that for you, and then you realize that you can't do anything there for another 2 weeks until you've done enough dailies and weeklies.
Until you hit the endgame light level.
But they tell you, like, you can go here to farm endgame to get ready for the endgame, where you'll be getting two-shotted by certain enemies and murdered by others. Yeah. And it's like, that's Destiny's version of difficulty, is a number.
Oh, yeah.
A number disparity between the player and the fucking enemy.
Mm-hmm.
The enemy AI is a certain number, and you're being fucking forced to go and jump through hoops, dailies, and weeklies, in order to reach that fucking point where your disparity between them is not anymore.
And it's like nothing.
It's like a fucking, it would be like in, say you're playing The Witcher 3 or any other RPG, where there are enemies higher level than you, and you need to bridge the gap in order to compete with their stats, right? Makes sense. How do you do that? Well, you go and you fight things and you level up that way, right?
Yeah.
And that's, you know, you could argue that that's what Destiny does. But Destiny doesn't do that. It doesn't say, go run, you know, this strike and you'll for sure get this. It says, run 3 strikes today and you'll get this.
Yeah.
Or run 1 strike today and you'll get this.
It like,
upgrade.
it funnels...
Run 3 strikes this week and you'll get another.
Yeah. And that's another thing, is it's the dailies and the weeklies are the same exact activities, right? It's like strikes for the daily, but then there's strikes for the weekly. And so it incentivizes you to log on daily and run like 1 strike a day to get the daily,
we couldn't even do the Nightfall after playing it for over a week. Yeah. The end game shit for over a week. We couldn't get it.
At all. It's because it's literally...
For over a week, dude.
Mm-hmm.
We played it about 6-7 hours every day, at least. For a week.
Well, and that's another thing.
We couldn't even run Nightfall. We couldn't go to the Dreaming City and do
7
stuff
hours
there.
And that's another thing. 6-7 hours every day. As opposed to like... The thing is you could do everything in Destiny 2 for the, like, guaranteed loot drops in, like, 3 hours. Let's just call it.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, you gotta run a strike. That could take you fucking blah, blah, blah. And the thing is there's no real incentive to do multiple strikes in a row because you know that you're gonna have to come back tomorrow and run another strike for that gear. So you might as well just do that and wait for your 3rd time doing that to get the weekly complete.
Yep.
Because if you run those extra 2 strikes today, you're still going to have to do one tomorrow. Yeah. You're still going to have to do one the 3rd day.
So it's
and you're not going to get anything in the fucking goddamn meantime until you hit that landmark of the weekly.
Oh, yeah. So it's like you log on, you run 1 strike, you run 1 gambit, you run a couple PvP maps, you run like a story mission.
Trash.
Yeah. And that's the problem
like the
with
thing
it.
is as a casual gamer, I can see the appeal it holds.
Oh yeah.
Where you're working, you got family, you got kids, like you only have like 2 or 3 hours a day, if that, you know, maybe an hour and a half. You can get a lot done and feel like you've, you know, accomplished a lot. The thing is that games do that all the time, where they give you that progression within an hour and a half, right? I would argue that you would be infinitely more rewarded for playing The Witcher 3 for an hour and a half every day, 2 hours every day, rather than playing Destiny. Because in The Witcher 3, in an hour and a half, you're going to go through a couple of quests. Maybe you're going to go on a monster hunt. You're going to track down some fucking thing. You're going to want to go, you know, if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, you're going to want to go farm oils. You're going to want to go farm potions. You know, you're going to have some concrete thing that helps you in the future of this game based on those time. And you're going to have a kick-ass fucking tale woven before your eyes that you're a part of, that you get to see change and shift based on your actions, right? Destiny 2, hour and a half, 2 hours a day, you're gonna have fucking 3 more numbers today.
Yep. And that's all it is.
3 more numbers. Here you go.
Yep. I like how they still have that level up system too, which is pointless.
The only incentive to continue playing Destiny past the weekly and the fucking dailies is in order to hoard currency.
Yep. Because
that's all you get.
You
get 100%. That's all you get, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you may get a loot drop every once in a while, but I've gotten things that were the prime engram that were supposed to want, because they give you that buff, prime engram buff, and that goes away at a certain point. I don't even know how the fuck that works. I hardly ever get them. I get one maybe fucking every 5 hours of play. Maybe I'll get one. But then you take that to the Cryptarch and they turn it, and it's supposed to be a guaranteed upgrade, but it's not. It's not. It's 2 numbers lower than the one you got in that slot. I mean, sure, it's an upgrade for every other slot in your gear, but it just so happened to drop for your one gear slot that's the highest number in your fucking inventory. So it's not an upgrade. It's not a guaranteed upgrade. So that's a fucking misleading bullshit statement there, right? So what is it now? Well, now it's a legendary shard, and now I can take it to Spider and fucking buy just one fucking, you know, 1 or 2 legendary cores, because after you buy beyond that point, they go up in price. They double. So it starts at 50, you buy one for 50, the second one you buy from him, you have to buy for 100. And then the next one you have to buy for 200, right? Because it's a daily incentive to fuck off, bitch. Come back later. We don't want to see you too long today. We don't want to see you get, you know, whatever you want when you were playing our game.
Yeah.
We don't want you to be rewarded.
You need to slow the fuck down.
You need to slow the fuck down and come back tomorrow, kid.
Yeah.
Come back tomorrow. Don't forget about the next day either. Or when we have this cool event that's nothing.
Yep.
That's nothing. It's a reskinned old mission.
In lower light level gear.
Yeah, it forces you to wear lower light level gear. And fucking, oh my god, dude. Like, the game's a fucking joke. And the problem is that it's made so much money that it most definitely has been a precursor for a lot of shit that we've seen. I think it's been a precursor to games as a service as much as Overwatch was a precursor to the fucking fanaticism of loot box defenders and the loot boxes being put in everything. Everything. Everything has loot boxes. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, almost 90% of the games post-Overwatch released with loot boxes stock standard.
Seeing them in freaking single-player campaign games.
Fallout 76 doesn't have them, but they have a store that sells reskins.
They have a
different
that
colors.
sells mods.
Right? But at least they sell them to you for $4 a piece as opposed to $4 for a chance at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even their perk and leveling system is a fucking loot box. It's card packs. Like, you don't even get to really have control over what perks you get in the game. It'll randomly give you this many, and then you decide which one you want. Like, what the fuck? Right? And then after Destiny, what do we see? We see No Man's Sky, we see Sea of Thieves, we see The Division, we see a fucking, you know, like a host of games that are this ongoing, you know, development, like developmental roadmap. I have seen Bethesda talk about a developmental roadmap already. They're hanging on to those coattails.
Oh, yeah.
Sea of Thieves, developmental roadmap.
Destiny,
this is what we have planned.
Roadmap.
Annual pass, developmental roadmap.
This is where we're going, and this is what we're going to be giving you soon. So keep posted, because it's coming. Maybe.
All I'm going to say is, at some point, we need to stop excusing laziness, and on a certain level, that's why I haven't been making videos, because I feel like it's just stupid to make videos at this point. Like, this is common fucking in your face, blatant fucking shit at this point.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
At this point,
you can't fucking deny that this isn't about your own personal feelings with the product, right? Your products are subpar, and there'll be defenses of like, oh, well, you know, you can't compare that game to that game because that game series has been going on longer. So, like, of course they would have evolved farther. No. You know, no, motherfucker, it doesn't matter. Were the fucking assholes in the other company sleeping with their heads under their fucking sand? Were they not paying attention to fucking games that were selling like hotcakes? Were they not paying attention to games that were wildly successful? Where the fucking developers did the work, made a functioning game, bled their fucking heart and soul into the motherfucker so to ensure that the gamer had the best experience fucking possible? Did they? You know? Did they do that? Did Fallout 76, did Bethesda do that with that game? Is that Bethesda's heart and soul in that game? Is it? Is it Bungie's heart and soul in Destiny? And Destiny 2? Is Blizzard's heart and soul in Overwatch? God, I hope not.
Is it in even BFA?
I don't think so. I think there's a lot there that's fucking really good, man. The story's still solid as fuck in World of Warcraft.
But it's slipping.
I enjoyed playing through Draenor. Of course, I was playing Draenor post-expansion, so I was way over-leveled, and I was just going through it easy as fuck. And then I hit the end game of it, and I was like, wow. And then I hit the end game of Legion, and I was like, wow, this is actually better than BFA's end game right now. What the fuck is going on? And it's, at a certain point, decisions are being made. that are at the cost of the experience for the consumer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And that's fine. I'm not saying it's unethical, immoral. I'm not saying it's fucking illegal. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that you need to call it for
we
what
need
it
to
is.
be honest with ourselves.
We need to be honest with ourselves
we
and
need
what
to
the fucking product is.
We don't need a fucking Twilight situation where everybody's talking about how amazing this thing is and everybody should experience it and
it's
fucking
like
throwing
just
it up
such
on a
subpar,
pedestal.
just a subpar thing.
And it's like, you know, I could be appreciative of what it is for what it is
Twilight,
if I knew what it is, if people were honest about it.
Twilight was like the Jerry Springer show if it was written well.
Yeah.
That's what the fucking Twilight was. I read it. I don't
Yeah.
care. I wish I had.
And it was all right.
Yeah,
I can
until you
appreciate
hit
it
the
for
end.
what it is. Yeah,
But it's
nothing
yeah.
like so
has-
amazing and
Yeah.
fucking.
It's not Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's not like
It's
something.
not like fucking Lord of the Rings. It's not
Yeah.
like, you know, there's several book series. Drizzt.
Yeah.
R.A. Salvatore. Fuck. Dean Koontz novels opposed to Stephen King novels.
Yeah.
Right? Stephen King's the most overrated piece of hack job I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
I can't stand Stephen King. And it's not even because his stories aren't mildly interesting or that, you know, it's just straight up, dude. Like, every Stephen King book I've read, I've snored my way through. Snored my way through. And honestly, it's just like, why, you know, you got good ideas, but they're fucking just not
poorly executed.
Just, yeah, it's like,
Fucking
I don't know, man.
very poorly executed.
Like the Dark Tower series, I
think
snored my way through those
Yeah.
books. Just snored my way
Yeah.
through those books. Like, what the fuck is he spending so much time on this for? Like, let's move on. Drive this fucker forward. Please.
For the love of God. Yeah.
But the thing is like, that's... At a certain point, we have to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say you have to be honest with yourself that Stephen King sucks. Like,
No.
I totally understand every, like,
But
why
it's like
I get it's personal taste.
being
like,
understanding of other people's personal taste. Like, okay, for example, if somebody
Yes.
were to
but
say,
this
you
is
know,
a
I like
horrible-
Destiny
This
2.
is a horrible comparison I made with the Stephen King. That was a god-awful analogy pulled out of my ass. That doesn't work. Because Fallout 76... When you look at it, when you look at the performance issues, when you look at the server issues, when you look at all of the issues with this game, the lack of a narrative, the very unimaginative and shallow endgame that's all about a grind that incrementally gives you fucking cookies. When you look at all of that, you can't help but say that, like, it's sub-quality compared to Red Dead Redemption 2. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, well, how dare you compare those two games? One of those games is, you know, made by different people. The thing is, I'm sick of that bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of people saying you can't compare game developers to game developers.
Yeah.
Why can't I? I heard it all the time, dude. Like, all the time with Monster Hunter World, people said, fucking Destiny hasn't been around as long as Monster Hunter. So, of course, it's not as well thought out and well advanced, you know, endgame. Of course it doesn't feel rewarding when you play it. Because Bungie's still trying to fucking figure out how to pick the fucking wedgie out of their ass. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, no. It's perfectly fair to compare the developers of a video game to the developers of a video game.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfectly fair to fucking compare mechanics that are aped from other games to the, you know, the current game.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like the reputations in fucking WoW versus reputations in Destiny. Right? We know fucking Luke Smith was a huge WoW guy.
Oh,
he
yeah.
fucking raided the
They
gates
knew.
of Garage.
They knew.
He has the black fucking bug
Oh, yeah.
from AQ40.
Yeah.
The one per server that you only get for being the herald
The
of
most, yeah. The most rare,
Well, good
like,
for fucking
mount
him.
ever.
He learned nothing from Destiny.
At
He
all.
learned nothing from that moment. There has never been a single time during Destiny where you ever could even feel close to what that moment must have been like. I wasn't there.
No.
I'm not going to sit here and say I was there for
No.
that. But I was there when fucking, like, there's just no way to compare that. Right? There's just no way.
I was there when the fucking what happened in Ice Crown, when the Wrathgate happened, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I was there when we
Wrathgate.
killed Arthas. I was there
Yeah.
when we killed Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, these are some moments that you can cling on to. And another thing about
dude.
that
when
game...
you take Arthas out, it's epic as fuck. The
Oh,
whole
yeah.
story, the fight up the fucking tower, that raid has story throughout the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Dialogue with NPCs.
Quests.
Getting you fucking dope shit like Sour Fang the Younger. This shit is epic goddamn shit. And Luke Smith takes that and turns it into Cabal Bane?
Yeah. And they knew what they were doing. They used the term raid. They used the term fucking...
Oh, yeah.
What was it? There was another one, I swear to God.
Well, there's
Reputations. Yeah.
There's
Raid
a reputation farm.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's character customization. There's, you know, gear score.
Oh, yeah.
There's, you know, like talent trees. There's it's 100%.
Strikes are essentially dungeons.
It was
you know?
it was going to be ideally the first person MMO version of fucking World of Warcraft. And I truly believe that that's what the original people wanted it to be.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there's people still at Bungie that get kind of fucking sad when they think about what it could have been.
Oh, yeah.
And what they wanted
what
it
it
to be.
should have been.
Because what it is now is it would be as if World of Warcraft, when you release it, you only get Kalimdor. You only get Kalimdor in the beginning. And you have to pay $60 more for Eastern Kingdoms. Then you gotta pay $60 more for fucking Outlands. Then you gotta pay $60 more for, you know, like fucking, and not just Outlands, just the Hellfire Penance.
Yeah.
Okay? Paying $60 for Hellfire Penance. Then you're paying $60 for Zangarmarsh. Then you're paying $60 for Nagrin. Then you're spending $60 for Blades Edge Mountains. Then you're paying $60 for, you know, the fucking, all the Nether
it's
Storm.
just they cut it up into teeny little sections and they're
Black
like
Moon Valley.
20, 40, 30, 20,
Yep.
10. You know, give
That's
us some
what-
money. Give us some money.
That's what it did. It was originally one product, you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
There's certain things in that game, certain ways things are playing out, that you could see a bigger, grander narrative on display. And I mean, that's been proven. There's been a Reddit user who said he was a fucking beta tester for Destiny 1, said that the story they released was completely different. We know that they withheld the fucking Crota raid, or the Crota raid, the fucking all
The
this
Dark
shit.
Below stuff.
We know they held off a lot of stuff. So in all likelihood,
They held off stuff from the...
Yeah, the stuff that we know about. And then there's like Old Chicago that B. Dobbins talked about all the time. And it's 100% the EDZ.
Yep.
Right? All they did was change it to European Dead Zone. It's Old Chicago though. Like it's the footage that he was showing in videos before the goddamn Taken King came out.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So this is something that it was one thing, and I mean you can tell so hardcore in Destiny 2. How many times in Destiny 2 do you go through a portal and you're in a different section? And then you go through another portal and you're in a different section. And then you go through another portal and there's another section. Like those portals, all that shit in Destiny 2, that's because they've patched it all together. Right? Like Nessus 100% is Venus.
Oh, yeah.
100% that's Venus shit.
You could definitely throw it into the Venus
It's
map and
interchangeable.
that is it.
Io, Venus.
Oh, yeah.
It's interchangeable. It was part of Venus.
Oh, yeah.
It was part of Venus. You can tell when you fucking look at it, dude.
A lot of these areas you feel that way. And then there's some areas that are completely different than like Destiny 1, but you could tell it was like, alright, this is kind of similar, like the Ascended Realm. Like the when we first went in there when we were going through the Dreaming City
cool.
shit. That was cool, but then I was like,
when we
hang
flipped
on.
to the upside down and shit.
But then I was like, hang on, wait, weren't we like Dark Below? This is the same thing, you know?
Yeah,
and
the
then
Throne World,
oh,
yeah.
And you just constantly have that deja vu, even with like the dialogue between the ghosts and like what he says to you, like, oh, they're eating Void Light. It's like
we already knew that
from the second expansion of the first fucking game.
Like
you
that was the
like,
whole deal. Like you know, well, it wasn't even that. It was way before that. It was on that first part of the moon.
Yeah,
when you're on
where
the
you run
first
across
mission,
the first dead guardian. Yeah,
and your ghost tells you, little Peter Dink, he tells you fucking that the Hive have been harvesting the light.
Yep.
From them. Like, that's the whole point. And then when you find them around the Shard of the Traveler, like, you're assuming that they're draining the light from the Traveler.
Like, they're eating the light.
That's implied. They're either corrupting it or they're draining it, right? Like, that's implied.
Yeah.
So it's like Destiny 2 was a complete fucking rehash on details that we already fucking knew. Like, they're explaining what the Taken are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, someone must have stepped into Oric's shoes. They're taking enemies and changing them. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's this... We know.
We know, yeah.
We know.
We know where these guys come from. We
How about
killed
you
them.
drive this fucking narrative forward and explain some of these holes that are all over the place.
Yeah.
They don't want to.
Dude,
That's why this story is served up in these episodic, like, cutscenes that are completely out of context.
That's why I find it so hilarious that people can look at Destiny 2 in the scope of from Destiny 2 to Destiny 1. And then even from the scope of, like, Destiny 2 to Destiny the Forsaken Edition or whatever, you know what I mean? That is fucking ridiculous to me.
It's gotten dumber.
Because
the story got worse.
Oh, yeah.
And that's fucking sad and hard to do. Because you know what? I think, and I'm not going to speak for everybody, for me personally, a big problem I had with Destiny's 1 story was the incompleteness of it.
The lack of information.
It wasn't that this is what happened, or like I found it lame or cheesy that like the stranger was showing up and blah blah.
No,
it was that I never found out who the stranger was.
Yeah, it was too many loose ends.
I never found out what she was talking about the past and the future and what we needed to change involving the Vex. I never found out shit. I never found out anything from the fucking mouthpiece of the Traveler.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever his name was. The speaker. We never found out anything from him. He just fucking gets choked out and murdered by Cabal Bane.
You never found anything. Even
in the most blatant fucking act of fan service I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
It's so stupid. It's like when Cabal Bane kills the fucking guy. Like, how bullshit is that?
Kills the speaker?
No, his friend.
Oh, yeah.
Like his general.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Don't tell me what to do or whatever the fuck. Like, he's some sort of grown man child. Like,
it was just at that moment they decided he's gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Well, why? I don't know. Just have him kill him.
No, we don't need to fill this out or come up with an explanation or like
out of context.
Fill out these characters.
We still don't even know how we saw any of that.
Yeah.
From the perspective of the single player narrative that you're telling. It's a single player narrative, right? I'm the only person that has the light. I'm the only person that can fight Cabal Bane. I'm the only person who can do any of this stuff. Yeah. And yet, how am I the only person who's seeing? How am I seeing this? How do I know where the speaker is? How do I know what Cabal Bane is interacting with him? Right?
It's just like, it's just handed to you. It's exposition that is fed to you because it's like, all right, let's jump to the bad guys.
Yeah, like instead of you doing a mission and like you catch up with him and more is revealed in that encounter and then he gets away or, you know, you get blasted again or something like that.
Or hell, I don't
Instead of that, it's just like, here you go, here's this.
Yeah.
Here's a fucking cutscene.
Well, hell, I don't mind if you're going to cut away and show something from the bad guy's perspective and like kind of flush out the story. At least have a fucking story. Like, that's the thing. At least flesh out characters, storylines. Never have a moment where it doesn't make sense or it feels forced just because, like, oh, it's got to end soon. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's got to be organic. It's got to go through a series of events by itself.
But they don't expect their customers to look that deep into it. Because
at all.
That's the thing. You need to remember how they view you.
Yes, they don't view you as, like...
as a rat and a $.
Yep.
So that's why they're completely comfortable with the narrative told in Destiny 2 and the lazy half-ass writing displayed there in character story. It's like, did anyone give a shit when Cade died who's over the age of fucking 15? Did anyone give a shit?
I was like...
Did it fucking matter to you at all?
I was like, good. I'm happy.
Yeah. I'm like, good. I'm glad he's dead.
I laughed.
That guy.
You know?
And then they did like this mission when you're doing the quest for the gun where you have to go find notes and it's all like this fucking, oh, so-and-so, if you killed me, blah, blah, blah. And it's trying to make him matter. And it's like, now that he's dead, now we're going to do the character development on him.
Yeah.
You know, he's not now just a snappy one-liner fucking guy. Now he has depth.
Yeah.
Now he has character because he's dead and we need you to care.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Is
It's like God of fucking War's opening. I never made the video. I gave up because Matthew Matosis made the perfect fucking video. Better than I ever could. But one thing he didn't fucking talk about, for me personally, what took me out of God of War, immediately killed it for me, was the fact that that game wanted me to give a shit without earning it at all.
At all.
At all. Okay? I didn't give a shit about who Kratos was now. Didn't care. I didn't understand why all of a sudden he's married and his wife's dead and I'm building a fucking funeral pyre for her.
Yeah.
Here's my son.
It starts and it says
My son's like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
It starts and it says you need to feel sad.
Yeah.
You
feel bad.
Yeah. Instead of starting and having you follow a trail of events that eventually led you on a downer note and you're like, oh man, that's a fucking bummer.
The game starts fucking literally at the fucking opening menu screen. It starts with you cutting down the tree for your wife's funeral pyre.
Like, feel bad! Just feel bad!
Your wife's dead! Feel bad! Feel bad!
Your son's alone with you and you're a fucking dick! Feel bad!
I found the exploration to be very insulting. It felt like those stupid puzzles where it wanted me to look at things all the time. It just made me very frustrated because I'm playing Where's Waldo because the fucking developers couldn't stop jacking off over how good the thing looked. Don't get me wrong, it looked great. Graphics were awesome. Visually amazing. I made it probably 10 hours through that game. Is about how long I played that game. And I just couldn't care anymore.
Yeah.
I made it to the top where I cut that guy's head off and I was like, I don't even remember what they said. I had trailed out in my head. I had the fucking subtitles on.
You blocked it out.
I was listening to Odin's kids talk. I was watching this fucking, Kratos hanging off the side of this wall. I'm watching this, and I didn't catch any of it. And then he walked up, and they were talking back and forth, and then all of a sudden he cuts the dude's head off. And I snapped back to paying attention. I was like, whoa, what just happened?
You're like, wow.
Because I
don't care.
The narrative couldn't keep me involved.
Yeah.
I felt like that the whole time. I felt like it was just contrived.
Yeah.
I can't explain any better than that. I did not like the story in the new God of War.
Yeah.
I hated the way it started. I felt like it was insulting. There was everyone was talking about the badass boss fight with the Odin son at the fucking, beginning of the game. I got to that game and that part and I felt like it was on rails. I could have been doing nothing. I was doing button prompts and things like that. Sure, it looked cool. But at the end of the day, I was parrying, R1, 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 parry, R1, 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 block, R1, 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 R1. Arwen! Where did you go?
With your glorious, voluptuous lips and your giant mouth.
Dude, I bet she could fit your, main head.
Fucking Liv Tyler.
Yeah. Her mouth is huge, man. Anyway, but that's
yeah.
That game was fucking
and it's
hailed as like a 10 out of 10 fucking.
And that's another thing that
I didn't even think it was as good as God of War 3, personally.
Yeah.
I thought it was very forgettable compared to other. I mean, Assassin's Creed Origins is better in my opinion.
And that's the thing, it looked really good.
I felt like the combat in Assassin's Creed Origins was heads and above fucking God of War.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Assassin's Creed Origins, where it's really not that amazing, but it was fucking fluid and fun enough that I got into it enough to beat the game. I could not be fucked with God of War. I could not be fucked with it. I started it on the hardest setting because I wanted the hardest challenge. And then I realized that difficulty to them meant giving the fucking enemies unfair advantage over the player. Right? Like, it wasn't about my and that's how it always was. Let's face it. I played other God of Wars on the hardest settings, and it was all about managing your combos in a way that you kept them from hitting you, and also with very good timing on dodges on certain bosses and things like that. Like, you couldn't get hit by certain abilities.
Yeah.
Certain enemies, you'd have to do a parry back and counter attack.
Certain mechanics.
So but that was the point. Is like with this, it really you were discouraged from doing any sort of combos, because your combos would leave you vulnerable to other enemies because they're just all attacking you, and the only indicator you have is a little arrow telling you what direction they're coming from, and then it flashes, so you have to dodge when that's ready. So if you're trying to like R1, R1, R2, and you know the difference is you don't even really have any starting fucking things in that. Like, you have to unlock combos, which I get, like, yeah, you did in the other one too, but aerial combos, things of that nature, that was stock and standard from the jump with the other God of War.
You would start with a set amount of combos, you know?
And so, the fucking thing about I was like, immediately realized that, okay, on this encounter, there's a very first encounter with these enemies, my best bet is to R2 spam everyone. Just hit him with that overhead chop, hit him to the ground, hit him to the ground, hit him to the ground, and then when they reach that berserk phase, which increases the damage they do, the fact that they no longer stagger, and it fills their life all the way back up, either I'm able to stun them before they can do that, or if they do it, now I'm just running away and throwing my axe. Because now at this point in the game, that's my most efficient strategy, is to use the ranged attack in a God of War game. And my wife is dead, and I don't know why. I don't know how she died. I don't know who she was. And that's the way God of War the other ones were, too. It's legit a retelling of the same fucking thing, only this time Kratos didn't kill her, that we know of, and he didn't kill his kid, too.
Right.
Right? And now instead of this narrative where it's, okay, he was fooled by Hades into murdering his own family because the gods are fucking these, you know, very, what is the word, patronizing fucking, you know, arrogant people who view themselves above the fates of man
humans
as just something
things.
to play with, as something to throw away at your whim. Hades uses fucking Kratos to be his tool, the Shade. He goes and he, you know, wins all these victories for him, and then at the end of the day, he still like convinces him to kill his own wife and kid, fools him into doing that, right?
Oh yeah.
So like, instead of that, where it starts with Kratos pissed off, nothing left to lose, angry as a fuck, ready to get revenge and tear Mount Olympus and bring it down to its knees, instead of that beginning narrative, we have this sad, bearded fucking Kratos that's carrying a tree to burn his fucking wife. And his kid's still alive. And like, we're taking her ashes to the top of the mountain, and then all of a sudden I'm cutting a dude's fucking head off who's tangled in a tree. What? What?
Yeah.
What is the point of any of it? It didn't, I mean, why did Odin's son come and hit me? Why was he there? Why did he do that? Like, there was nothing given there back and forth. It's just like, okay, well, he's a god. Like Kratos. He's matching my strength, so he's got to be either a god or a demigod, right?
Yeah.
So, who is he, though? Like, who was my wife?
It's like a chunk of information you should have known before.
And it's this, you know, I get it. They probably explain that all later on, but they go on this, like, all of a sudden, like, you're meeting the witch and she's helping you do something because it's just so, I didn't understand how it connected, because it was just, the journey was, we're taking the mom's ashes, we're taking it up to the top of the mountain to drop them where she wanted us to drop them. But then Odin's son attacks, so there's kind of it's a necessity to leave, but that's still what you're doing. And then in the meantime, there's all these monsters attacking you, and you read the lore about them, and it's like, okay, so we're in, like, what? Where are we? Is this fucking, like... And then you go and you find the Bifrost, and you travel through the Bifrost, and it looks amazing, looks great. But to me, personally, maybe I just have horrible attention span. I mean, I don't think I do, because, you know, like, The Witcher 3's narrative was very gripping to me, kept me on the edge of my, you know, seat the whole time. Game like Red Dead 2, even the side missions are gripping to me. I find every moment interesting as fuck, even those random encounters in Red Dead 2 that are not quests or anything, where you'll just see a woman getting kidnapped. And she's like, save me, save me. So you save her, and she's like, thank you. You didn't know what he was saying he was going to do to me. And then she hops on her horse and rides off. That felt like a better constructed narrative than anything in God of War to me. The new God of War, personally.
Yeah.
I didn't like that game at all. I felt like the combat was not God of War. It did not feel like God of War. It felt like it wanted to be like Dark Souls, but it wasn't.
Wanted to be other things without being what it was supposed to be.
it was, you know, the thing about it was the level layouts were really fun. I liked the way they look, but they, you know what they reminded me of? They reminded me of very simple, like, palettes.
Right.
It didn't feel open. It felt just like the old God of War games, but it didn't have the great combat. That was the reason I loved the fucking series. Like, when I played God of War, I didn't play those games for hours on end. I didn't play the one on the PSP on the hardest mode for like a month in order to beat it. For no fucking reason. I did it because the combat was awesome. It was responsive, it felt fluid, and I felt like hard mode on God of War, the new God of War, it felt like it was taking the piss out of me. It was like, you are at a severe disadvantage, and it has nothing to do with your skill. You will be able to be hit twice, and then you will be dead. You will have no healing here in the beginning of the game. Unless you find those things and, you know...
And due to the tools that you are given at the very beginning of the game, it is going to be
incentivized to stay away and chip at them with the axe throw to the head.
Because that's the only tool that you're given that is effective
that's
against...
Worth it down. That's worth it down.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I'll have a link to Matthew Matosas' God of War video. That's a lot better. His video is excellent. He goes through certain things that I did not even think to notice. But once he was talking about them, I was thinking of specific enemies and situations where I was like, yeah, that was a fucking problem, dude. Like, I was being... basically what it is it's that move correct thing where it, like, pulls people up to you. Like, the enemy will do an animation and he will just slide forward into you.
Right.
And, like, fucking Kratos does it too. Like, pulls you forward.
To go up against enemies. So it's like an auto,
it
up
fucks
against
up
them.
the dodge. Dodge in that game I felt was really bad. I didn't feel like it was fucking... Like, I felt like I was better off just staying away and throwing my axe than trying to go toe-to-toe and dodge multiple enemies. If it was one enemy, you could dodge it easy. But the frequency of the enemy's attacks and, like, how many there were on you made a huge difference to where you would get hit and you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't notice where it had come from or who had done it. Or you would dodge, and then immediately after coming out of your dodge, before you could dodge again, take a hit from a second enemy who attacked staggered to the first. And slid over to you and hit you anyway. But... Jesus, we trailed out now.
Yeah.
But that's alright. Those bunch of things I've been wanting to talk about.
Yeah, and that's another thing is, like, the only good thing about God of War, and this is one thing, and, like, to be fair, it showed that there is a demand for single-player games in the market. But what is damaging to the industry is people giving it a 10 out of 10 and throwing it up on a pedestal that it's not. Like... People will appreciate the game for what it is.
Yeah.
Just be honest.
Yeah, be honest about it. You got to talk about a game's flaws.
Yeah.
As well as its buffs.
But it
gets tricky when you're talking exclusives to Sony because then it goes back to that console war where it's like, I picked the right system. God of War's on Sony, so Sony's better. And so that gives the game a huge boost because it's a bragging right. Even though it's not a horrible game. I don't think it's an awful game. I don't think it's the worst game released this year.
No,
I don't think it's the worst game I've played in a long time. I just don't think it's a fucking 10 out of 10.
No.
I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I don't think it's an RPG. It got called an RPG by a lot of outfits. I don't think it was anything near an RPG. There was no choices to be made. It was a linear story, right? And I didn't feel like it was an action RPG either, because the combat felt way too tedious to me to be considered an action game. Way too tedious. I felt like this idea of the balancing of enemies where the harder difficulties, they just like two-shot you. Like, that's not harder. Like, do something with them that makes them different. And don't have that be an enrage phase that fills their life bar and makes them immune to stagger. Like, I could have dealt with the fucking extra damage, dude. But as soon as they would hit half health and they do that, I was fucked.
Yep.
They could not be staggered, right? There's multiple of them in that state now. I'm dead.
Yep.
I'm dead. Like, there were a lot of problems with God of War. It wasn't as good as people said.
But if you're honest with
but it's not as bad as like,
no,
I wouldn't say it's worth $60.
No, but then
the production value,
yeah,
you know,
but
it does.
If it does have good things about it, and it does
most definitely,
and it is a very good thing because it does show that there is a demand for single player driven campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest problem that we have in the industry right now is hype.
Yeah,
People, they are selling you the game before it comes out, and all these journalists, they are like spinning that PR to the max. We saw it with like that Diablo Immortal, where it's like their entitled fanboys are bitching about
the entitled
it's
fanboys,
like,
the entitled PC Blizzard fanboys.
If you have an issue or you go against the grain with these main publications, you're a piece of shit.
It's
you're
because they're swerving it for the industry. They're making they're on the industry's payroll.
Oh yeah,
you see it with Fallout 76 already. You already see it.
Oh, yeah.
You see fluff stories about updates. You see, I mean, it's the same thing you saw with Sea of Thieves. It's the same thing you see with fucking No Man's Sky. And these ongoing games that spit in the face of the customer on day one. Fucking, I mean, Fallout 76 is $35 less than 2 weeks after release.
Oh, yeah.
So if you bought it 2 weeks ago, you paid fucking $25 more than someone who buys it now. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You're an idiot for being a fan. You're an idiot for trusting that company and expecting them to do the same quality that they've done with their last ones, right? And then, at the end of the day, you excuse it by saying all their games are buggy.
Yeah.
All their games are buggy. Oh, so they've always been incompetent, so it's all fucking K.
You have to justify that hype.
Oh, well, they've always been fuck-ups, so it's alright, I guess. It's like you fucking get murdered, and, you know, you're bitching about it, Chubbs, because I got murdered. And they said, what do you expect? That guy murdered people all the time.
Dumbass.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's alright.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's such a dumbass, like, defense.
Oh, yeah.
Of like, oh, well, they've always sucked. All their games...
They've always been buggy.
The thing is the bugs are what kill the experience in otherwise grand adventures. Grand fucking adventures that feel awesome. Open worlds that feel alive and breathing. Mm-hmm. Right? But at a certain point, the modders took over, and that's where Bethesda really gets their names. They get their names because the modders take their product, fix it, add on to it.
And make it better.
Yes, make it better, and then give it out for free. Right? And it's a good idea. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that that's a thing that happens. But the company that's selling the product and making money off the product should care more than the people that are just doing it for fun.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They should care more. It shouldn't be a fucking lazy excuse to release a broken game that requires a patch download that just fixes bugs. From the Nexus. You gotta go to the Nexus and you gotta download this patch. It's gonna fix this bug, this bug, this bug, this bug, this bug. That are all game breaking. They ruin your fucking progress.
Slew of them.
But, you know, this fixes them all. There was one for Oblivion that I downloaded. There was one for Fallout 3 that I downloaded. Like, total reworks that fixed the fucking thing from bugging out on you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's not coming from Bethesda. That's not coming from the developer of the game. No, you know what's coming from Bethesda is a patch note saying that the Desdemona bug is fixed. We fixed this. It's fixed in this update. And it not being fixed.
It's still not fixed.
We'll just say we did. We'll just say we fixed it.
Yep.
That's all we need to do. The modders are going to fix it anyway for the people on PC. That's our core fucking, you know, fans.
That's who we really give a fuck about anyway.
Like, you know, and then, not only then, though, they're fucking compromising things on PC for console versions of the game. Like, the controller fucking layout on PC is all fucked for 76. Because, and watch Angry Joe's review on it. It's fucking awesome. I watched it last night. Watch it later. Fucking, it's great, dude. He fucking goes off.
I still need to watch
He points out a lot of fucking shit, dude. Like, that game is abysmal. It's abysmal. It's an asset flip of Fallout 4 for cash. That's what it is. It's a cash grab asset flip.
It's hopping on
that has less fucking work put into it, well, polish put into it, than free mods on the Nexus that you can download for free. Here you go, for free.
Oh, yeah. It is.
They'll coast.
They're hopping on that wagon of games as a service.
Name,
Oh yeah.
Well, and the thing is people will still defend it. I see it every time there's a post about Fallout 76. You see two types of responses to that on Twitter. You see one that's like dead game walking or fucking basically a discouraging mark against it, And every now and then you get one that's a detailed, constructed, like why it's bad or why it's good. I've seen people defend that it's good based on the world and the layout of the world and the map and like how much bigger in scale it is and like how the map. But on the flip side of that, it's empty, hollow, and dead. So does it really even feel as big as like one in Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 where it's or Fallout New Vegas,
right?
Where it's like every fucking because it's smaller, it's more compact and full of goodness.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean? Like,
it's full of all sorts of different experiences that you can take
I would
part
rather have a small map that's full of good shit in it than a giant map that's full of mindless wandering AI that are easy to kill and that are just there for me to shoot and get XP and like the side quests, I guess, are like very like the worst side quests from the other one. Like, go pick up bottles, bring me back bottles, and go fucking deliver this here, and go take this there, and go kill X amount of these. It's just basic shit.
Yeah,
it's what it is, and it's Destiny was the precursor.
Oh yeah,
and Destiny 2 is still getting away with it with an annual pass. I just, I'm done talking about that game.
This is our eulogy.
Yeah. This is our eulogy to fucking Destiny 2 and games as a service.
Because it's done. Regardless if Destiny 2 continues and the game actually stays financially lucrative after a course of time, it will fizzle and fade.
Yep.
And Let us just say this.
It will die. It will die out as its audience grows up.
Yep.
As its audience tries other games, fucking Red Dead 2. If you haven't picked that up and you're playing Destiny 2 still, quit fucking around. Go get Red Dead 2, dude. Go get Red Dead Redemption 2. That game it's got its problems. It's not a fucking 10 out of 10, in my opinion. And I wouldn't even give it as fucking high a score as Joe did. But the thing about that is I probably would. Because the thing about it is the problems that I have, I'm going to fucking do that later anyway. But the thing is, go get that game. Fucking go get Red Dead 2. It's fucking amazing. It legit is an amazing game. Packed full of goodness, and it shows you that that's what you should expect from a $60 game. Because when Fallout 76 sells itself for $60, and Red Dead 2 sells itself for $60, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
It sets a standard higher.
Yeah, it does. And it should. And it should be compared. Just like I can compare Destiny to The Witcher. It sells itself for the same price. It's made by people who make video games. It's published by people who publish video games. I'm going to compare them. I think it's a fair fucking game.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. I'm about done.
Yeah, that's about it for us, folks.
Till next time, everybody. Once again, sorry for the long time of fucking content like being here. I wish I could put you all in my head and let you understand, but if I tried to explain it, I personally would just feel like I was bitching and complaining, and I hate that shit. I hate people who bitch and complain. It pisses me off. It doesn't do anybody any fucking good. It kind of spreads the darkness if it's darkness to be spread. So that's why I just don't want to do it. So we haven't been doing videos because honestly I personally haven't been filling up to even talking about them, and my mind's been elsewhere on other shit, and I felt like tonight we had enough things. I've been collecting footage. I've been,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
we've still got many more things to talk about.
Yeah,
because
we've got a lot more stuff, but I wanted to make sure that there was no dead time when I did do a video. And I don't want to be one of these fucking idiots on YouTube that spams the fucking thing 18 videos a day about the same topic with different titles to try to get clicks. And I feel like that's the futility of YouTube too. I feel like there's this overwhelming sense of futility when we do a video and we do upload a video and we take our time on a video and we work real hard on our video and we're original with our opinions. They're coming from a place of, constructed thought that we actually put into it, not from a Reddit thread we once looked at one night for 10 minutes
and not only
made
that,
a 20-minute video about.
And not only that, don't forget a passion for video games.
Yeah, I love them.
Oh, yeah.
I love them. Like, there's certain things that come around every now and then. Like, Red Dead 2 is one of those things that, like, it made me sad for my friends who couldn't play it. And it made me happy that I lived long enough to play it. That's the only thing I can fucking say about that. That game is a fucking gem. And it could be my upbringing. My dad's a cowboy. Grew up on a ranch in Arizona. You know,
I don't know though, because I watch you play, and it seems like there's a lot of things.
I got
in
a
that
lot
game.
of love for Western. I grew up watching, you know, John Wayne,
Oh, yeah.
Eldorado, fucking
even
Silverado with fucking
Yeah.
you know, Babyface, Kevin Costner, Danny Glover was even so young in that. Fucking, I grew up watching a lot of John Wayne movies though.
Yeah.
Road to El Dorado. There was, I can't even remember the other ones, but there were a lot. The Road to El Dorado is the one I remember the most because that's the one we owned. You know, like we rented a bunch of them from the video store, but the one we owned was the Road to El Dorado, and that was the one with the kid that couldn't shoot for shit.
Yeah.
So John Wayne gives him a sawed-off shotgun. He's like, now try to hit it. Boom! He's like, see, now you don't have to worry about aiming, kid. That shit was good, dude. There's like that scene where he got the bath. Like that, when I took my first bath in Red Dead 2, I was just like, dude! It's fucking awesome, dude. I couldn't fucking it's so good. It's one of those games that makes you get excited about gaming again. After having played World of Warcraft and Destiny and just it starts
seeing
to
where
drain
it's
you,
going,
shows you where it's going, where it's headed, what it's about, where it's not about Red Dead 2, which is about delivering a super fun narrative and giving the player tools to shape that experience in an infinite number of ways. And I mean that, truly, because with infinite number of ways, I guess I shouldn't say infinite number of ways, but in a huge amount, you can be good,
it breaks
you
up
can
the
be
monotony.
bad. There's so many things you can do in that game. There's things that pop out of nowhere at you. Really cool shit that opens up whole new narrative.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for instance, that mission that led me... I'm not going to do that. I'm fucking not going to spoil Red Dead 2. I'm not going to do it.
Anyway,
Yet.
the value stays the same on multiple playthroughs.
And the thing about that game is I've been playing it offline. I haven't, because I don't want to update it. I don't want to fucking, you know, update my Sony every time I get on. I hate the PlayStation Network. I hate it. It's become Facebook. Like, and I'm sorry if you're my friend on there and you feel like I'm avoiding you. It's really not you. It's really not any of my friends.
Sony.
It's the idea of social networking. I hate it. I think it's a blight on humanity. I personally think that it will be what causes the destruction of us, in a way. I think that it'll be used by rich people to get richer and ignorant people to cause problems amongst other ignorant people, so that, you know, the people at the top can keep people on the bottom fighting. And it's just, I feel personally that it would be the same as living in a town where everybody just walks into your house and everyone tells you everything, every intimate detail of their lives. Like, they just walk in and say, oh, my son got his first boner yesterday. He didn't understand it, so I explained it. And he just walks in and starts telling you that.
Just
Useless information. Yeah. You don't need to know. No one else needs to know. But here it is. And it's like this global hub of just like, let's spew. And it's poor kids that are on there that are saying things. They're going to look back and be like, holy fuck. That's another reason I hate Facebook, is all those fucking memories. There's some really good ones buried in there. But some of the worst years of my fucking life happened with Facebook while it was active. And so with Sony turning it into that sort of a thing where it's like you got updates and all this,
you got your
shit.
communities.
Like, you log on and anyone who wants to follow you, unless you have that blocked, I guess I could do that, but then I'd feel like a dick. I just like delete the motherfucker. Like with Facebook, I didn't want to block people that were annoying. I didn't want any of, like, them to be like, you blocked me, you unadded me, you did this, you did that. I just deleted the fucking thing and walked the fuck away. Right? So I've been doing that on Red Dead 2. I have had the fucking disc version of the game. It's worked flawlessly. The game was actually on the disc. It wasn't some Destiny bullshit where you open it and you put the disc in and it downloads the game online. Why didn't I just buy this online? No, it's 2 discs, thick fucking, full of fucking data, just like legit shit. There's a play disc and an install disc. I just was so impressed by that. The amount of options Rockstar put into this game. Usually you see like volume levels and fucking gamma. And that's your fucking console settings, right? This has depth of field for third person. This has fucking all sorts of like, oh my god, all sorts of things. You can fuck with the dialogue of the music of versus there's a lot of options in it. I fucking can't really go through them right now because I'm not looking at them.
Yeah.
But I was impressed by them. I was like, wow, this is a fucking game, dude.
Oh, yeah.
This is a fucking game. And it feels to me like it took inspiration from The Witcher. And I'm not going to say that but that's the thing is The Witcher took inspiration from other such games. And that's the thing about Rockstar is, say there's definitely problems with GTA 5. But that is not a fucking game that isn't worth $60. That game is full of fucking content.
Yeah.
Where you get your bang for your buck. Then you get access to an online mode for free. When nowadays they're selling you one. It would be if Rockstar sold you just car races. That's it. In GTA Online. Just car races, $60. Here's a bunch of loot boxes, though.
Yeah.
New skins for your fucking cars. This one gives it stripes. $5.
This will make it horn the La Cucaracha song.
So, like, and it's, I feel like it's ridiculous for anyone to excuse any other company doing any less than fucking what Rockstar did for $60.
Yeah.
And you want to come to me with like the argument about Rockstar Mystery is play? I agree, that's fucked up. Unless they're putting in their contract when they hire the person that you may be required to do this, and that person is going into that knowing that that's going to be a requirement of them, that during crunch time there. But if they're straight up holding that over employees' heads, then firing them for refusing to do it after a certain point, and then removing their name from the credits, yeah, that's fucking horseshit, right? That's horseshit. But that doesn't affect the product they delivered. To me, personally, it affects the reputation. I wouldn't want to work for them. I wouldn't go work for them.
And it definitely makes you wary of Rockstar, and it also makes you look forward to the developers who left and what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, what they're going to be doing.
You need to learn from these experiences.
Because Red Dead 2 is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic. It's one of the greatest games I've played since The Witcher 3, dude. Straight up. It's reinvigorated all of those feelings I had. Well, I mean, I'll slow walk into a saloon, walk up to the bar, and just have a shot of whiskey, all slow as fuck. Just because it catches me up in that moment, dude. You're talking to strangers as you walk by. All of a sudden, a redneck in the corner starts some shit. Knock him and his two racist fucking redneck hillbilly motherfucking buddies out. You know, walk out of the bar. Good night, everybody. I'm going home. I'm going to go hunt an elk now. A legendary elk. I'm going to go, you know, hunt some... I'm going to go fishing. And fish for some legendary fish. You know, this big old fucking bluegills caught my eye. And I want to... You know, I got told by it by a fucking skinny dipper. It's like... It's the sort of game...
Skinny dipper.
Oh my god. Like, it's the sort of game that... fucking... exposes so much. Fallout 76 didn't even have a single player campaign.
No.
It is online only, bare bones, basic bullshit.
All the time, online.
Have to be online to play it.
Live updates.
Meanwhile, I've been playing through this fucking game for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I'm only at fucking 64.9%.
Oh, yeah.
I did 3 quests, and it counted for 0.9%.
Oh, yeah.
Giant quests, cool narratives, story, man. Anyway, we'll be back later. Love you guys. Sorry once again. I'd like to say it'll never happen again, but... I don't want to be a liar. I lied enough when I was a kid. I'm trying to cut that shit out.
It's like Forrest Gump says, shit happens.
Shit happens.
Shit happens, Jenny.
Sometimes I just need to fucking disappear.
Yeah.
And I need to grapple with my own shit with the people that are closest to me that can help me fucking grapple it. And I need to strangle it down and get it under control again so that I can continue moving forward and hopefully live to see another year. So that's what it's all about, man. Hopefully I get to see Red Dead fucking 3.
Yeah.
Anyway, fucking love you guys. Till next time, stay safe, stay awesome. Let us know below a topic that you guys would like to see us talk about, and we'll work that into the next video. Let us know what you guys have been playing. Once again, I feel like a dick for having not contacted anybody, or like fucking kind of just been in the black and not really explaining anything. Sorry guys. Fucking love you.